Professor Crevan adjusted his observation equipment as he watched the human cadets through the transparent barrier of training room beta. His 4 eyes blinked in different patterns, a sign of deep concentration among his species. The data streaming across his screens told a story that defied conventional xenobiological wisdom. "Fascinating," he muttered, his long fingers moving across the control panel. "Simply fascinating." Below him, Alexandra Murphy and Lucas Bennett were attempting their 15th round of high-gravity combat training. Their alien classmates had completed their modified versions hours ago, but the humans insisted on continuing at maximum difficulty. The professor's youngest assistant, a gaseous being named Mist of Dawn, floated nearby in her containment suit. "Professor, their pain readings are beyond our established safety protocols. Should we not stop them?" "Look closer." Crevan pointed to a particular data stream. "See how their bodies are responding. The micro-tears in their muscles aren't just healing. They're reinforcing. Every moment of pain is literally making them stronger." Through the barrier, they watched as Alex threw Lucas over her shoulder, despite the crushing gravity. Both humans were drenched in sweat, their training uniforms dark with moisture. They moved slower than normal, but kept going, their faces showing intense focus rather than suffering. "But Professor," Mist of Dawn swirled anxiously in her suit, "all our research suggests that voluntary pain exposure should cause psychological damage. Yet their mental readings show excitement." Crevan nodded, his neck extending slightly. "This is why I requested to study at Sunspire Academy. Humans don't just endure pain. They seek it out as a path to improvement. It goes against everything we thought we knew about intelligent species development." The training room's medical scanner beeped again. Lucas had just broken 3 microbones in his hand during a blocking maneuver. Instead of stopping, he adjusted his stance and continued. The scanner showed the bones already beginning to heal, stronger than before. "Their healing rate is accelerating," Crevan noted, adding to his research log. "Each injury repairs itself more efficiently than the last. It's as if their bodies are learning from the damage." A group of Arxian students gathered at another observation window, their scaled faces showing various signs of distress as they watched the humans train. One of them, Velthor, pressed his hand against the barrier. "How can they smile while hurting themselves? It makes no sense." Crevan approached the Arxian students, eager to share his observations. "Think of it this way. What happens to your scales when they're damaged?" "They grow back thicker," Velthor answered. "But that's natural healing. Not this." "Exactly." Crevan's excitement made his skin change color slightly. Humans have somehow evolved to apply that principle to their entire bodies, and more importantly, to actively seek out opportunities for such improvement. The training session finally ended. Alex and Lucas helped each other up, their legs shaking but their faces showing satisfaction. The medical scans showed multiple minor injuries throughout their bodies, all already beginning to heal stronger than before. "Professor," Mist of Dawn swirled thoughtfully, "could this explain why humans have advanced so quickly since joining the galactic community? Are they constantly growing stronger through their willingness to endure pain?" Before Crevan could answer, the door to the observation room slid open. Dean Zixtal entered, his crystalline form catching the light. "Your preliminary report is causing quite a stir, Professor. The Galactic Education Board is particularly interested in your findings about human pain adaptation." "Dean," Crevan's skin rippled with academic excitement, "I believe we're only scratching the surface. These humans, they're not just strong because they can endure pain. They're strong because they've turned pain into a tool for evolution. Every challenge we give them, no matter how difficult, becomes an opportunity for growth." Below them, Alex and Lucas were already discussing their next training session, planning ways to push themselves even harder. The alien observers watched in silence, beginning to understand that what they had dismissed as reckless behavior was actually a sophisticated evolutionary strategy. "Perhaps," Dean Zixtal said, "it's time we reconsidered our understanding of human potential. And perhaps we should be grateful they're our allies rather than our enemies. Alex sat in the Academy's main auditorium, feeling the tension in the air. Dean Zixtel stood on the stage, his crystalline body glowing under the lights as he explained the new enhancement protocol. The room was absolutely silent. Each species will receive carefully calibrated modifications, the Dean said, displaying holographic diagrams. These enhancements will be adjusted based on individual physiological limits. Lucas leaned over to Alex, whispering, "They're going to water it down for everyone, aren't they?" She nodded slightly, already knowing where this was heading. The alien students around them were reviewing the modified protocols on their datapads, looking relieved at the safety measures. However, Dean Zixtel continued, his voice becoming more serious. The raw protocol remains available for those who wish to attempt it in its original form. I must emphasize that this version carries significant risks. The alien students murmured in shock. No one had ever chosen the raw version of any training protocol before. It went against every safety standard in the galaxy. Alex and Lucas exchanged a quick look. They didn't need to speak. They both knew they would volunteer. It wasn't recklessness driving them, but the deep human understanding that real growth came from facing genuine challenges. Their Arxian friend Velthor noticed their expressions and grabbed Alex's arm with his scaled hand. "Please tell me you're not thinking what I think you're thinking." "Sorry, Velthor," Alex said quietly. "But you know we have to try." "Have to?" Velthor's scales shifted colors in distress. "You don't have to do anything. Take the safe version like everyone else." Lucas shook his head. "The safe version is designed for minimal pain. That means minimal growth." Before Velthor could argue further, Alex stood up. "I volunteer for the raw protocol." The auditorium went completely silent. Even Dean Zixtel's crystalline form seemed to freeze for a moment. Then Lucas stood up as well. "I also volunteer," he said firmly. Professor Krevan, who had been quietly observing from the side, stepped forward. His 4 eyes were blinking rapidly with excitement. "Dean, this is an unprecedented opportunity to study human adaptation in its purest form." The medical staff, led by Dr. Ixel, immediately objected. The insectoid doctor's antenna waved in agitation. "The raw protocol could cause organ failure in most species. We cannot allow." "We're not most species," Alex interrupted politely but firmly. "Humans adapt through challenge. It's what we do." Dean Zixtel raised his hands for silence. "Cadet Murphy, Cadet Bennett, you understand that this protocol was designed before we fully understood the limits of different species. It has never been tested in its raw form." "Good," Lucas said. "Then we'll be the first to show what humans can really do." The Dean studied them for a long moment. "The medical bay will be fully staffed. Dr. Ixel will monitor your vital signs. At the first sign of critical failure, we will terminate the protocol." Alex and Lucas nodded their agreement. As they walked to the medical bay, other students watched them with a mixture of horror and awe. Velthor followed them, still trying to change their minds. "This isn't bravery," he insisted. "This is madness." "No," Alex said as she lay down on the medical bed. "This is evolution." The enhancement procedure began. As the raw protocol flooded their bodies, pain sensors lit up across the medical screens. Dr. Ixel's antennae twitched violently as the readings exceeded all safety parameters. "Their pain levels are beyond our measuring capacity," the doctor chittered anxiously. But Alex and Lucas remained conscious, their vital signs strong despite the agony. Through the observation window, alien students watched in disbelief as the humans endured what should have been impossible. Professor Krevan's datapad worked overtime recording everything. "Remarkable," he whispered. "They're not just enduring the pain, they're using it. Their bodies are already beginning to adapt to the protocol." In that moment, everyone in the medical bay began to understand. What looked like human recklessness was actually the key to their species' greatest strength, the ability to transform pain into power. Hour 6 of the enhancement protocol turned everyone's expectations upside down. Alex and Lucas lay in their medical pods, their bodies glowing with an inner light that none of the alien medical staff had seen before. The raw protocol was changing them in ways no one had predicted. Dr. Ixel moved frantically between monitoring stations, her insectoid form clicking with stress. This is impossible. Their cellular structure is changing faster than the protocol was designed for. Professor Creven stood at the observation window, all four of his eyes wide with wonder. Look at the adaptation rate. Their bodies aren't just accepting the changes. They're improving on them. The medical bay had become crowded with observers. Dean Zixtel stood near the main console, his crystalline form reflecting the emergency lights that kept flashing but were being ignored. The warnings had been going off for hours, but the humans showed no signs of distress. Their pain readings are still beyond maximum, Dr. Ixel reported, but their vital signs are strengthening. This contradicts everything we know about biological enhancement. Inside her pod, Alex felt her body burning with change. Every cell seemed to be on fire, but the pain didn't frighten her. She could feel herself getting stronger with each wave of agony. In the pod next to her, Lucas was going through the same transformation. Velthor pressed his scaled hands against the observation glass. How are they still conscious? Any other species would have been sedated hours ago. Because, Professor Creven explained, his skin changing color with excitement. They're using the pain. Somehow, their bodies are turning the agony of transformation into a catalyst for even greater changes. The medical screens showed new data that amazed the alien staff. The humans' muscles were becoming denser but more flexible. Their bones were strengthening themselves beyond the protocol specifications. Even their nervous systems were adapting, creating new pathways for faster reactions. Their bodies are taking our enhancement protocol and improving it, Dr. Ixel said in disbelief. They're evolving beyond our predictions. Alex opened her eyes, and several alien observers stepped back. Her irises now had a subtle glow to them, an unexpected side effect of the enhancement. She turned her head to look at Lucas, who met her gaze with eyes that held the same glow. Cadet Murphy, Dean Zixtel called through the pod's communication system. We can stop the protocol if you wish. You've already exceeded all expectations. Alex's voice was steady despite the pain. No, sir, we're not done yet. Lucas nodded in agreement. The changes are still happening. We can handle more. Professor Creven's data pad chimed with new alerts. Their bodies are developing adaptations we didn't even program into the protocol. They're not just getting stronger. They're creating completely new biological improvements. The alien medical staff watched in amazement as the humans' bodies continued to evolve. Skin became tougher while maintaining sensitivity. Reflexes sharpened beyond normal human limits. Muscle fiber density increased to levels that should have been impossible. Should we stop them? Dr. Ixel asked the dean, her antennae twitching with concern. They're going far beyond safe parameters. Dean Zixtel studied the readings carefully. No, they've proven they can handle this. Perhaps it's time we trusted their species' unique relationship with pain and growth. Hour 8 brought even more surprises. The humans' enhanced bodies began showing signs of accelerated healing. Small cuts and bruises from their earlier training healed within minutes. Their cellular regeneration rates had tripled. They're not just surviving the protocol, Professor Creven said with academic awe. They're mastering it. Everything that should break them is making them stronger instead. In their pods, Alex and Lucas continued their transformation, their determination never wavering. They had become living proof of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to turn pain into power, suffering into success, and challenges into evolution. News of Alex and Lucas's transformation spread through Sunspire Academy like wildfire. Students gathered in small groups in the corridors, their voices hushed as they watched the two enhanced humans walk past. The slight glow in their eyes and the fluid grace of their movements made them stand out even more than before. Their strength readings are off the charts, a Meridian student whispered to his classmates, his tentacles curling with nervous energy. "I heard they can train in triple gravity now." Alex pretended not to hear the whispers as she headed to the training hall. She had gotten used to the stairs over the past few days. Her new abilities still surprise her sometimes, like when she accidentally bent a metal tray in the dining hall because she forgot to control her enhanced strength. Lucas met her at the training room entrance, ready to give them more to talk about. He asked with a grin. Before Alex could answer, Catherine stepped forward from the crowd of observers. She was another human cadet, one who had always kept to herself during training. "I want to do it too," she said firmly. "I want to take the raw protocol." The alien students nearby fell silent. Dr. Ixel, who was passing by, froze in mid-step, her antennae going rigid with shock. "Catherine," Alex said carefully, "you know what it feels like. You've seen our recordings." "I do know," Catherine nodded. "I've watched every minute of your transformation. The pain, the changes, everything. And I'm ready." Lucas studied her face. "Why now?" "Because," Catherine straightened her shoulders, "watching you two prove what humans can do made me realize we're just scratching the surface of our potential. We're meant to keep pushing forward, to keep evolving." Professor Crevan hurried over, his skin changing colors rapidly with excitement. Another volunteer. "This is unprecedented. 3 test subjects would give us much more comprehensive data about human adaptation patterns." The news of Catherine's decision raced through the academy. Some alien species, particularly the more cautious ones, began to voice their concerns. They gathered in the main hall, demanding a meeting with Dean Zixtal. "The humans are becoming too powerful," a Petrovasian elder rumbled, his rocky form vibrating with worry. "Their enhancement levels are beyond anything we thought possible." Velthor, despite his initial fears about the protocol, found himself defending his human friends. "They're not using their strength to threaten anyone. They're just trying to improve themselves." "But where does it end?" another student asked. "If they can adapt this much to one protocol, what happens when they try something even more extreme?" In the medical bay, Catherine began her preparation for the protocol. Alex and Lucas stayed nearby, offering advice and support. Dr. Ixel ran preliminary scans, her professional curiosity now mixed with a growing respect for human determination. "Your species continues to amaze us," the doctor said, checking Catherine's baseline readings. "Most beings try to avoid pain. You seem to see it as an opportunity." Catherine smiled as she lay down in the medical pod. "Pain is just weakness leaving the body. At least, that's what my grandmother used to say." The alien medical staff exchanged glances. This human perspective on pain and growth was still foreign to them, but they couldn't deny the results. As the protocol began, Alex watched Catherine's vital signs spike on the monitors. She remembered her own transformation, how each wave of pain had forged her into something stronger. Now she would watch another human embrace the same journey. "The galaxy isn't ready for what humanity is becoming," Professor Crevan said quietly to Dean Zixtal as they observed from the control room. "These enhanced humans could change everything." The Dean's crystalline form shimmed thoughtfully. "Perhaps that's exactly what the galaxy needs, a species that doesn't just accept evolution, but actively drives it forward through sheer force of will." Below them, Catherine's transformation began, adding another chapter to humanity's story of voluntary evolution through pain. The aliens watched, some with fear, others with admiration, but all of them knowing they were witnessing a turning point in galactic history. The arrival of the galactic military observers changed the atmosphere at Sunspire Academy. Their massive ship hung in orbit, visible from the Academy's windows like a silver needle against the red sky. Inside the Academy, Alex, Lucas, and Catherine prepared to demonstrate their enhanced abilities. The Galactic Defense Council rarely shows this much interest in training programs, Dean Zixtal said as he led the observers to the demonstration area. The visitors included high-ranking officers from various species, their uniforms gleaming with medals and rank insignia. Admiral Enkstara, A tall being with iridescent scales stepped forward. "We're here because 3 humans did something our best scientists thought impossible. We need to understand how." The demonstration arena had been specially modified for the event. Professor Creven stood at the control panel, ready to begin the tests. "We'll start with basic physical capabilities and then move to more complex challenges." Alex stepped into the arena first. The gravity increased to 5 times normal, a level that would crush most species. She moved as if she barely noticed it. The observers murmured in amazement as she began a complex series of combat moves. "Impressive," Admiral Angstera said, "but we've seen enhanced strength before. What makes this different?" Lucas joined Alex in the arena. "The difference," he explained while easily lifting a weight that would strain a maintenance robot, "is that we're still adapting. Still getting stronger. The enhancement wasn't a one-time change. It turned our bodies into continuous evolution machines." Catherine demonstrated this by having Professor Creven scan her cellular structure. The displays showed her body actively improving itself, becoming more efficient with each movement. Their pain tolerance allows them to push past normal biological limits, the professor explained excitedly. But it's more than that. Their bodies learn from every challenge, every strain, every injury. They're constantly evolving. One of the military observers, a being made of pure energy contained in a special suit, spoke up. "What are the applications for deep space exploration?" Professor Creven pulled up his research data. "Their enhanced bodies can adapt to extreme conditions much faster than standard humans, who are already more adaptable than most species. They could potentially survive environments that would kill others." The demonstrations continued. The 3 enhanced humans showed their improved speed, reflexes, and problem-solving abilities. But what really caught the observers' attention was their rapid healing. "Watch this," Professor Creven said. He had Alex hold her hand in a chamber of extreme cold. The sensors showed severe tissue damage, but within minutes of removing her hand, it had fully healed. "The implications for colonization are enormous," Admiral Angstera said quietly to his staff. "Humans were already spreading across the galaxy faster than any species in history. With these capabilities..." The Admiral's voice trailed off as they watched the 3 humans working together to solve a complex tactical simulation. Their enhanced minds processed information faster, while their bodies moved with perfect coordination. "It's not just about physical capabilities," Dean Zixtal added. "The protocol enhanced their natural human traits. Their adaptability, their drive to improve, their ability to learn from pain. Everything that makes humans unique has been amplified." The military observers huddled together, discussing what they'd seen in hushed tones. Meanwhile, Dr. Ixel showed them medical scans comparing the enhanced humans to their baseline readings. "The changes are still continuing," she explained. "Each day brings new improvements. We've had to redesign our testing equipment 3 times just to keep up with their development." As the demonstration ended, Admiral Angstera approached the 3 humans. "Your achievements here will change how the galaxy views human potential. The question is, are we ready for such rapid evolution?" Alex wiped sweat from her forehead and smiled. "With respect, Admiral, evolution doesn't wait for permission. We're just the first wave. There will be others who choose this path, who embrace pain as a teacher rather than an enemy." The Admiral looked at his fellow observers, then back at the humans. "Perhaps that's what we need for the challenges ahead. A species that doesn't just survive adversity, but actively seeks it out as a path to growth." The day of the graduation exercise arrived with a sense of history in the making. The Academy's massive challenge arena had been transformed into a multi-environment testing ground. Obstacles and challenges designed for different species filled the space, each section more demanding than the last. "Today's exercise will test the limits of what we thought possible," Dean Zixtal announced to the packed observation gallery. Representatives from every major galactic power had come to witness the event. Alex, Lucas, and Catherine stood at the starting line, their enhanced bodies radiating quiet confidence. The slight glow in their eyes had grown stronger over the weeks, matching their increasing abilities. The challenge course contains elements designed to stop every known species, Professor Krevan explained to the audience. No single being has ever completed more than 2 sections. Velthor watched from the front row, his scales shimmering with excitement. They're going to try all of them, aren't they? The course began with the Petrovasion Strength Challenge, moving massive stone blocks under crushing gravity. The 3 humans worked together, their enhanced muscles handling weights that would strain industrial lifting equipment. Look at their technique, Admiral Engstera commented. They're not just using brute force. They're adapting their approach with each block. Next came the Meridian Agility Maze, a complex network of energy beams that required impossible flexibility to navigate. The humans' enhanced bodies flowed through gaps that should have been too small, their movements becoming more fluid with each obstacle. Their bodies are still evolving, Dr. Ixel noted, checking her scanners. Even now, they're developing new ways to move, new ways to adapt. The 3rd section was the Arxian Endurance Trial, an environment of extreme temperature changes. As the humans pushed through heat that could melt metal and cold that could shatter stone, their bodies adjusted in real time. Extraordinary, a visiting scientist whispered. They're not just surviving the conditions, they're getting stronger from them. Section after section fell to the enhanced humans' abilities. They solved puzzle rooms designed for the most intelligent species, navigated hazards that should have been impossible to survive, and overcame challenges that had been engineered specifically to exploit human weaknesses. They're not trying to prove they're better than us, Velthor realized, watching his friends work together. They're showing us what's possible when you embrace challenge instead of avoiding it. In the final section, all environmental protections were removed. The humans faced raw space conditions, vacuum, radiation, and absolute zero temperatures. The audience held their breath, certain this would be too much. But Alex, Lucas, and Catherine didn't hesitate. Their enhanced bodies adapted to the vacuum, their strengthened cells resisting the radiation, their improved systems handling the extreme cold. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Now we understand, Dean Zixtel said as the humans completed the course. What we saw as reckless human behavior was actually the key to their evolution. Their willingness to face pain, to endure hardship, to push beyond their limits. It wasn't madness, it was their greatest strength. Professor Krevan's final readings told the story. Their bodies are now capable of adapting to almost any challenge. But more importantly, their drive to evolve, to improve, to grow stronger through adversity. It's stronger than ever. As the 3 humans stood before the amazed audience, Admiral Engstera stepped forward. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history. You've shown us that evolution isn't just about surviving challenges. It's about actively seeking them out. Alex looked at her fellow graduates, then at the gathered aliens. This is just the beginning, she said. Humans will always push forward, always seek new challenges, always find ways to grow stronger. Not because we have to, but because it's who we are. The Academy erupted in applause. Even those who had feared the humans' enhancement now understood its true meaning. They had witnessed not just physical evolution, but the evolution of possibility itself. Dean Zixtel's crystalline form glowed brightly as he addressed the gathering one final time. Let this day be remembered not as the triumph of 3 humans, but as the moment we all learned a vital truth. True strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from embracing it as a teacher, a catalyst, and a path to becoming something greater than we ever imagined possible.